John woke up with a smile on his face, his mind filled with a sense of contentment. The soft sunlight streamed through the curtains of his neatly organized apartment, casting a warm glow over the room. He stretched his arms and took a deep breath, feeling the tranquility of his surroundings wash over him. Outside his window, the streets were bustling with people, all wearing cheerful expressions as they went about their day. As John got ready for work, he glanced at the mirror, noticing his own reflection. His eyes sparkled with joy, his face radiated happiness, and his smile seemed to glow with an inexplicable warmth. It was just another ordinary day in this seemingly perfect utopian society, where happiness was not just a fleeting emotion, but a way of life. Stepping outside, John joined the stream of people walking along the pristine streets. The buildings soared into the sky, their sleek and modern designs reflecting the advanced nature of their society. Everywhere he looked, there were smiling faces, laughter, and an atmosphere of harmony. The government's presence was ubiquitous but never imposing. Billboards adorned the streets, displaying slogans like, "Happiness is our priority," and "Together, we thrive." The constant reminders of the government's benevolence created a sense of security and trust among the citizens. John believed in the system. He believed that the government genuinely cared for its people, working tirelessly to ensure their happiness and well-being. After all, why question such a blissful existence? Life was easy, predictable, and filled with joyous moments. He arrived at his workplace, a sprawling office complex that buzzed with activity. Colleagues greeted him with warm smiles and exchanged pleasantries, their conversations laced with genuine enthusiasm. The office was a testament to efficiency and collaboration, where every individual played their part in the grand machinery of societal harmony. During lunch break, John sat with his friends in the company's cafeteria. They laughed, shared stories, and reveled in the simple pleasures of camaraderie. It seemed as if nothing could dampen their spirits, as if their happiness was an unbreakable shield against the worries and hardships of the outside world. As the workday drew to a close, John made his way back home, strolling along the meticulously landscaped pathways. The air was infused with a gentle fragrance, and the sound of laughter echoed through the air. The sense of community was palpable, a collective celebration of the perfect life they all led. Inside his apartment, John sank into his comfortable armchair, reflecting on the day. He felt grateful for the harmonious existence he was fortunate to be a part of. The government had built a society where everyone was cared for, where happiness was not just an abstract concept, but a tangible reality. With a peaceful smile on his face, John drifted off to sleep, his dreams filled with visions of a world where joy knew no bounds. Little did he know that soon, his perception of this perfect society would be shattered, replaced by a truth he could never have imagined. Days turned into weeks, and the constant happiness that had defined John's existence began to waver. It started subtly, with fleeting moments of dissatisfaction that he initially brushed off as mere anomalies. But as time went on, those moments of discontent grew more frequent and pronounced, impossible to ignore. The government had always provided its citizens with happiness-inducing drugs, carefully administered to ensure a perpetual state of bliss. However, a flaw in John's dosage emerged, causing the effects of the drugs to gradually weaken. It was a slow erosion of the illusion he had once embraced so fully. As the drugs lost their potency, a veil began to lift, revealing a world that was starkly different from what John had believed. Colors seemed less vibrant, laughter felt hollow, and the once joyful faces of his fellow citizens appeared eerily vacant. Confusion and curiosity gnawed at John's mind. He started questioning the authenticity of his emotions, wondering if the happiness he had experienced was genuine or merely a chemically induced facade. In the midst of this turmoil, he became determined to uncover the truth and understand the nature of his own existence. With a newfound sense of urgency, John embarked on a quest for answers. He delved into research, scouring through government archives and seeking out clandestine sources of information. Bit by bit, he pieced together fragments of a disturbing reality hidden beneath the guise of happiness. He discovered whispers of dissent, stories of citizens who had escaped the government's control and dared to live authentically. They described a world where emotions were diverse, where joy coexisted with sorrow, and where the pursuit of happiness was not confined to a manufactured state. As John continued his exploration, he encountered others who, like him, had experienced the faltering effects of the drugs. Together, they formed a small, secretive group, bound by a shared understanding of the truth. They exchanged stories, comparing their fading experiences of artificial happiness with the genuine emotions that now flickered to life. In the safety of their hidden enclave, John and his newfound allies shared their experiences, describing the subtle nuances of emotions they had once taken for granted. They celebrated moments of sadness, anger, and fear, recognizing that these were essential aspects of the human experience, elements that had been stripped away from them by the government's manipulation. With each revelation, John's determination grew stronger. He couldn't turn a blind eye to the plight of his fellow citizens, all blissfully ignorant of the truth. He yearned to liberate them from the shackles of the government's control, to give them the chance to embrace their own authentic emotions. However, their actions did not go unnoticed. The government, vigilant in its efforts to maintain control, discovered the existence of the resistance group. In a swift and violent operation, they infiltrated their sanctuary, capturing John and his allies. Confined within a sterile, white-walled room, John awoke from a drugged slumber. His head throbbed, the remnants of his previous rebellion echoing faintly in his mind. Confusion and disorientation gripped him as he struggled to make sense of his surroundings. A shadowy figure emerged from the corner of the room. It was a government agent, their expression impassive, a mere instrument of the system that had ensnared John. The agent's cold eyes bore into John's, devoid of any empathy or understanding. "You've been quite the troublemaker, John," the agent sneered. "But don't worry, we have ways to ensure your loyalty." With that, the agent produced a syringe filled with a potent cocktail of the happiness-inducing drugs. Fear surged through John's veins, but he found himself powerless against the inevitable. He knew that resistance was futile, that the government's hold on him was unbreakable. As the needle pierced his skin, the familiar numbness enveloped him. Slowly, the world around him transformed once again into a vibrant tapestry of colors and cheerful faces. The euphoria surged through his veins, erasing the doubts and awakening a profound sense of contentment. In this chemically induced state, John's perception was altered, and he became enamored with the very system that had manipulated him. He marveled at the orderly society, the smiling citizens, and the soothing voices of the government officials who assured everyone that happiness was the ultimate goal. The days blurred together as John assimilated back into the society he had once questioned. He played his part, contributing to the illusion of perfection. He smiled when prompted, laughed on cue, and buried the nagging thoughts of authenticity deep within his drugged psyche. But within the recesses of his mind, fragments of memories and a flicker of resistance remained. They whispered to him, urging him to remember the truth he had once known. John fought against the fragments, pushing them away, desperately clinging to the artificial happiness that embraced him. The government, vigilant and unyielding, monitored John closely. They ensured his compliance, ever watchful for any signs of rebellion. They infiltrated every aspect of his life, eradicating any remnants of doubt or curiosity that dared to resurface. The once defiant flame within John's heart, the ember of resistance, grew dimmer with each passing day. The government's hold on him tightened, its grip unrelenting. As the drugs coursed through his veins, he felt a sense of devotion and gratitude towards those in power, blinding him to the truth he had once glimpsed. In the end, John embraced the illusion with open arms. He embraced the false sense of happiness, burying the memories of resistance and embracing his role as a model citizen. The rebellion, once fueled by a desire for truth and authenticity, became a distant echo in the recesses of his mind. And so, John lived out his days, forever trapped in the embrace of the illusion of happiness. The government's grand facade remained intact, the population blissfully ignorant of their true reality. The truth lay buried, waiting for the day when someone would rise, someone who would dare to challenge the system once more.